Roethlisberger and the Steelers begin their quest for the postseason today in Oakland. And standing in their way, looking to play the role of spoiler, Derek Carr and the Oakland Raiders. And hi again, everybody, alongside the Hall of Fame nominee, Chris Spielman and Shannon Spake. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to the NFL on Fox. Let's start with the Raiders. Jon Gruden, 10 years away from coaching. They bring him in for a second go-round, trying to build this thing from the ground up.
Well, you look at Jon, we talked to him yesterday. He feels a tremendous responsibility to get this going. They do have the cornerstone in place, and that's Derek Carr. Derek Carr actually is coming off his best game since he's teamed up with Gruden last week. See if they can carry it over today.
Well, you talk about a coach and a quarterback combination. How many have been better in the history of football than Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin trying to get to the playoffs yet again?
Well, Ben Roethlisberger is something, and he's got to be maybe a little bit more because they lost James Conner, right? So look for Jalen Samuels and Stephen Ridley to replace James Conner. But look, this offense, the playoffs start today. He understands that. The offense revolves around him and his right arm.
Well, you don't hear about scoreboard watching much in football, but by the way, the Ravens are still playing in overtime against the Kansas City Chiefs, and you can bet the Steelers know about that. Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Hey there, Tom. So speaking of the Steelers, a win here today would certainly check some boxes. Big picture, it'd be another win and push them one step closer to the playoffs. But for Ben Roethlisberger, it's more of a personal box he would like to check off because this is the only stadium in the AFC where he has not won a game. He is the one who told us that. He also told us that not only has he not won a game here, but he hasn't played very well here in the past. That is something that is on his mind, certainly something that's on the minds of the Raiders because, as you mentioned, Tom, they are looking for the big spoil.
Well, that they are. And just moments ago, Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, of course, an incredible run with the Oakland Athletics and then later the New York Yankees, among others, and lighting the Al Davis torch. We are underway, and the Raiders will get the football. This is Dwayne Harris, and he's out across the 25 as Pittsburgh won the toss and deferred to getting the football come the second half. So here comes Derek Carr, 27 years young, grew up in Bakersfield, California, played collegiately at Fresno State. Has not thrown an interception in his last 7 games after some very early and costly picks the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, he talked to us yesterday about settling in with Jon Gruden. Feels comfortable with all the audibles. Much more freedom at the line of scrimmage. Put them in the right play.
Wondering if Doug Martin will be able to go today with an injured knee. He gets the football on first down. And a good, powerful, strong run. A gain of 9 against the Steeler defense. The main man in this offense for the Oakland Raiders has been their tight end, Jared Cook. He's having a great year.
Yeah, he's having a Pro Bowl year according to his teammates and staff. Really a good target. They like to do this, spread him out wide, get him in one-on-one matchups.
Hey, 77 Falcon. Hey, 77.
See, that's what we were talking about. He has much more freedom to audibilize and put them in the right play at the line of scrimmage.
Second down, going to throw it for the first time, looking for Cook, and there he is. Penalty flag comes down, the reception is made. And the Steelers are saying that Cook pushed off to get open.
He's working on L.J. Fort, that's why we circled him. Jon Gruden loves to put him out in space, especially if you can get him one-on-one with the linebacker. Derek Carr will see that and isolate that and make sure that he gives his guy a chance to make the play.
There is no foul for defensive pass interference. The result is a completed catch. First down, Oakland.
Ron Torbert, our referee today in Oakland.
Now there's a reason why we circled. He checked out. He saw the matchup. You saw the audible at the line of scrimmage. It's a perfectly thrown football to Jared Cooks, who has the ability and the height to go over up the smaller L.J. Fort. Great play, great start, aggressive play calling.
Gain of 30 on the completed pass to Jared Cook. Empty backfield at the Steelers' 35-yard line. Quick slant, and once more, it is Cook down to the 15. Another Oakland first down. What a start for the Raiders on this opening drive.
Well, now they're playing zone, and again, working Cook in a slot. So you could say tight end, I'm going to say about 80% of the time he's a wide receiver. Jon Bostic has the responsibility of not letting him across his face. The strength of Cook is able to run through Bostic in that zone coverage, and Carr delivers a great pass, so an easy transition from catch to run.
And of course, they'll be focused in as always. They don't call him Blitzburg for nothing. 41 sacks for this Steeler defense, most in the NFL. And the Raiders have given up nearly 40 on a first down carry. It's Martin inside the 15, down to the 11. Steelers overall the number 7 ranked defense in the NFL, and they've got playmakers everywhere.
They do on all 3 levels. Of course, Cameron Hayward really steady inside. Hargrave has 4 sacks in the last 3 games.
TJ Watt with a 10 sacks and breaking it for another first down to the 3-yard line is Seth Roberts. They were wondering if he was going to play today after suffering a concussion this week. But it's first and goal, Raiders on this opening drive.
Well, you're going to watch Watt, number 90, out here in space. He feels like he's getting held. Good play call again. Get the ball out in a hurry. Let your playmakers make plays. And Seth Roberts, good run after catch guy also.
First down and goal. They give it to Martin. And the former 2-time Pro Bowler is a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, really resurrecting his career, getting another chance with these Raiders. He's already run for more yards and had more attempts than the second time he went to the Pro Bowl with the Bucs, and that's all the way in 2015.
Yeah, and John Gruden, of course, lived in Tampa for a long time, cultivated that relationship with Doug Martin, had a chance to bring him here to Oakland, and loves what he's brought to his offense. And one thing about Doug Martin, you're going to get honest day's work. He's going to fight and claw for every single yard and inch on that football field.
Well, they bring in an extra offensive lineman. And they also bring in the defensive tackle Clinton McDonald on this second and goal from just outside the 1. And John Gruden will spend a timeout. And we're right back after this message from Bose. John Gruden, 55 years young, born in Sandusky, Ohio, grew up in South Bend, Indiana, played college football at the University of Dayton, and now in his second go-round with the Raiders. Was here from 98 to 2001. And you see they have struggled inside the red zone so far this year. Second down and goal. Martin close to the goal line, no signal given yet, and apparently he comes up just short. I mean, inches away from a touchdown.
We called timeout, and what they did was they brought their regular offense in. They went to a spread formation, hopefully to create some type of lane. That did not work out, so now on third down, he said, the heck with it. We're changing personnel again. We're bringing everybody big, and we're just going to find out who's tougher. Line up and find out who's tougher on this goal line play.
Third down and goal, 8th play of this opening drive of the game. Raiders trying to get on the board. Martin over the top, and he is in for the touchdown, Oakland Raiders.
What a start. Surge. Who's going to win? The low man will win if you're able to stop penetration by the front. As the Steelers felt somebody jump, they did not. Steeler guys are too high, and you're not able to get any penetration beyond that line of scrimmage. Doug Martin has a free jump over the goal line. Great opening drive, tone setter, building off some of the success that they had offensively last week.
So now the point after, what a find Daniel Carlson has turned out to be. That one right down the middle after Minnesota cut him loose earlier this year. He is finding a home in Oakland, and what a start for the hometown Raiders. 7-0. Just in a final, Kansas City wins in overtime, beating Baltimore. When the day began, the Steelers had a half-game lead over the Ravens in the AFC North. And a shocking loss today by New England, and that continues to open the door for Kansas City. Home field advantage in the AFC postseason. Switzer losing his footing, and he's just short of the 25-year line, and here comes one of the all-time greats. 36 years young, grew up in Findlay, Ohio, but with all the wins under his belt, there's only been 142 of them. He's never won a game here in Oakland.
Yeah, he's certainly aware of that. He addressed that on our conference call yesterday, and he understands, like we said in the open, his playoffs, the Steelers' playoffs, start today.
Pick in the 2004 draft, Roethlisberger out of Miami of Ohio, and we're going to be calling this name a lot today. Filling in for the injured James Conner is Jaylen Samuels, and even though he's never been a primary lead running back, even going back to his college days at NC State, he is a guy that finds the end zone.
Yeah, unfortunately, he gets to run behind a pretty good offensive line, and Mike Tomlin talked about how excited he was to be able to see what Jaylen Samuels can do with his opportunity.
Well, they know he can catch the ball. They put it in the hands of Hayward Bay, the former #1 pick of the Raiders way back when. Remember that? Back in 2009, and that did not fool Markel Lee.
Oh, just an excellent job of doing your responsibility. Every defense has somebody that's responsible for the outside. Lee doesn't go for any fakes, takes care of his job and his responsibility first. Nothing gets outside of him. You saw Arden Key, number 99, go inside, Lee outside. Great disciplined play by Lee.
Hayward Bay has touched the ball one time all year long, and on the second play of the game, they put it in his hands, a loss of 7. And now 3rd down and 13, and Roethlisberger, what a throw and what a catch by Juju Smith-Schuster. His 89th catch of this season.
Well, he's covered, right? Number 23, Nick Nelson's the nickel linebacker, and the confidence to make this throw. And understand that I'm going to throw a 50-50 ball, and I'm going to have confidence not only in my offensive line, my arm, but my guy, Juju Smith-Schuster. Covered. Nick Nelson doesn't see the ball. His guy goes up and makes a great play. But the confidence for Big Ben to throw that into traffic, he doesn't care. That's why I love him. He's going to throw it, let his guy make the play.
First down, they're going to throw it. And it's incomplete. He had a wide open Antonio Brown. Brown, of course, one of the game's all-time greats. And this Raider defense has struggled mightily all year long. Only 10 sacks from this group this year.
Yeah, and you look at it, they have guys that are in and out of the lineup and signing guys this week. But you know what? The one thing I like about them, they play really hard and they'll compete.
You're wondering, the league average for a team at this point in the year is right around 30-31 sacks. The Raiders have 10. How about that catch from the youngster Samuels? And it'll bring up 3rd down, and we check in with our good friend back in Los Angeles, Carissa Thompson. Hi, Carissa.
Hi, Tom. Thank you. Chiefs, Ravens tied at 24 in overtime. Harrison Butker hits the 35-yard field goal. RG3 in for an injured Lamar Jackson. Pass falls incomplete on 4th and 22. Chiefs win and clinch a playoff berth. Tom, Chris, and Shannon.
How about that? Thank you very much, Carissa. He came in for a 3rd and 22 and a 4th and 22 did RG3. Here we have a 3rd down, and we'll call it 6 for Pittsburgh. Blitz coming. Steelers pick it up and into traffic, but this time it's incomplete. Looking for Smith-Schuster again.
Well, it's zone coverage right here. Ben's going to buy time with his feet. Schuster does a good job of finding an area in the zone to sit it down. And just a good break on the ball by Morrow. And pressure was created by Paul Gunther by bringing Carl Joseph. So if you're not getting pressure with your defensive line, let's add safeties to the mix. It's a little bit of a zone blitz concept right there that worked out well for the Raiders. Jordan
Berry puts a foot on it. And A favorable bounce down inside the 10-yard line. 45-yard punt. Great start for the Raiders. A 7-0 lead over Pittsburgh. Look at this guy, minus the chin strap. Legendary Steeler Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls with Pittsburgh in a 1989 Pro Football Hall of Fame. How about that? No chin strap.
Well, Terry's tough enough. He has a strong enough jaw to handle those hits.
Ben could do it too. Sunshine peeking through what has been a cloudy morning, and this is Martin. Another good run up to the 19-yard line. A gain of 9.
Hey, Tom, if I'm the Steelers, I look for keys, right? Look at the foot of Brandon Parker. When it's run, he's even. When it's pass, his foot will be back. And also the alignment of Doug Martin. When Doug Martin's behind David Carr, that's run. When he's even with David Carr, that's pass out of a single set shotgun. So what you can do as a defense is you can help. If you see that, you make a rabbit call for run. Everybody comes out their pass rush and play run.
2nd and a yard, and it looks like Martin was able to pick up the first down. Javon Hargrave in his 3rd year out of South Carolina State. What a find he was in the 3rd round 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's solid inside, but I'm just talking about little keys that you can look for. And Brandon Parker being a rookie, you know, the one thing he's worried about is speed. So when he's pass protecting, he gets that right foot way back behind him to allow him to get out and get depth on his pass protection. Now see that right foot? Look at that. Pass all day. Watch it be a run.
Nope.
Yeah.
Pump fake. Flag down. What a reception that was, made by Derek Carrier, only his 6th of the year. But again, we wait on the penalty flag.
And I just want to tell you how that affects, because you can be the guy playing over Brandon Parker.
Illegal formation by the offense. Number 75 was lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
That's Brandon Parker.
Yeah, and so what you can do is alert your defense, alert your pass rushers. If you see that right foot back, that tells these guys no run, get in pass rush mode. If that right foot is even, then you slow down your pass rush and you look for them to run the ball. And right now, that's holding pretty true. Now, if I had to guess here, see him set that right foot? Well, it's obviously empty set, so we're going to get a pass here.
No, but make yourself look good. I mean, finish that through. Empty backfield there, unless it's a quarterback draw. Pump fake again. And now Carr is dropped. Stephon Tuitt, his 4th sack of the year, number 42 for the Steelers defensively on the year.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a bonus right now. If you're only rushing 3 and getting 8 and you're getting sacks with 3, because Pittsburgh likes to blitz so much and bring 5 or more, that time they showed the blitz, backed off, forced Carr to pull the ball down and allowed Tuitt to get a coverage sack with great effort and hustle.
I want to go back to this thing, though, with you on Brandon Parker. I mean, if you're the Raiders, would you not have picked up on that or addressed that already this year?
Well, I would, but, you know, that's a run right there, because 2 things. Doug Martin was behind David Carr. You do that to allow him to time up the handoff between David Carr. And if you go back to that, you will see Brandon Parker's foot was square or closer to his left foot. Or that's Richard, excuse me. But see that foot now? That hip's closed and that foot's there. Run, run, run. Everybody play run. Disregard any pass rush you may have. That way, without those pass rushes, you close down any running lanes by getting up the field.
Well short of a first down on a completion to Seth Roberts, so the penalty really backed him up along with a sack. And the Steelers defense will get off the field and should get good field position.
Yeah, they realized the game started, right? And let's go. Sometimes when you come out the West Coast, the Raiders did a good job of punching in the mouth. Derek Carr did a great job of leading them down the field the first series. Now can they capitalize on field position?
Good punt for Townsend, who struggled this year, backing up Switzer all the way to the 25. Second time he's lost his footing on a return today. And he is slammed down out in the 30. Steelers will get the ball back after a defensive stop, trailing 7-0 in America's Game of the Week. Well, if you grew up watching the NFL in the 1970s, from 1974 through 1980, 6 of the 7 Super Bowl champions during that time frame, one of these two teams. They've only played 22 times in the regular season, but it just seemed like for years and years they were playing every other week. Great games, great names, great players. Samuels, a rookie, on first down, a game of 3.
It's all about the players, right?
No doubt about it.
I mean, you think of
and the coaches.
Yeah, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Jack Tatum.
Saw George Atkinson on the field before the game today. There's the coaches, Chuck Noll, and the great John Madden, who still makes his home in this area. Second down and 7. Roethlisberger rolling, and wide open down the middle of the field is a tight end, Jesse James, to the Raider 42-yard line.
This is where Big Ben kills you. He has all kinds of time. You can work that scramble. They're hard to cover.
Let's go to Carissa Thompson in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Tom. Chargers up 7-3 on the Bengals when Phillip River hands it off to Austin Eckler, who takes it in for 5 yards out. Chargers up in this one, 14-3. Tom, Chris, and Shannon.
All right, Carissa, thank you very much. Steelers trailing 7-0. 2:27 to play in the opening quarter after that 22-yard completion to James. Set up the screen to Samuels. Nearly runs into his own man. The center, Marquise Pouncey, but a good pickup on first down. And let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Yeah, Tom, just an update from the Steelers sideline. You did see Ryan Switzer slip on the field a couple times. You guys have mentioned that. He came over to the side. Special teams coach Danny Smith not happy. They kept pointing at his shoes, and they have sent some equipment managers or equipment guys back to the locker room to grab some different cleats. So we'll definitely watch that.
Well, and just to add to that, Shannon, that stuff needs to be figured out in pregame.
Yeah.
You can't be wasting time and being worried about your shoes when the game is starting.
Take it to Samuels, quick slant, and the catch is made by James Washington, who's getting a big-time chance right now. After the injury last week to Justin Hunter, he's a number 2 round pick, decorated college career at Oklahoma State. Ben Roethlisberger called him out a couple of weeks ago on what should have been a touchdown reception against Denver. He was inactive last week, and that is just his 9th catch of the year.
Well, he also built him up, and Ben talked about how he threw the ball extra to James in practice to show that he still has trust in him to make the play. It's good for James right there in his confidence.
Stephen Ridley touching the ball for the first time since that critical fumble he had in that win against Cleveland mid-season, and it's the first time he's touched it since a Week 10 game against Carolina, that rout of the Panthers. Apparently those are new cleats. Well, how cool would that be? You got some shoe problems, call up and they bring you 3 bags full of cleats. It's not a bad deal.
Yep. NFL. Got to figure that out in pregame, though. Get it.
That's the old Jerry Glanville line, not for long if you can't figure out the cleats. Samuels again. Well, I tell you, he is a load, Samuels. He goes 6 feet, nearly 230 pounds. He was a touchdown machine and a pass-catching machine. Converted fullback tight end, and now filling big shoes of James Conner.
Yeah, and remember, in North Carolina State, he had a game or career-high 12 carries.
Right.
So he's going to be counted on a lot. He can do a lot. Very versatile.
Raiders and Steelers at the end of the opening quarter. At the end of this year, the Steelers will become only the 2nd team in North America's 4 major sports to have 3 or fewer head coaches / managers in a 50-year span. You go back to '69, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin, Connie Mack, the Philadelphia A's. Won 5 World Series spanning 50 years. Unbelievable. The continuity, the success of this Steeler franchise. Staggering. Vance McDonald, the former 49er, having the best year of his career. Converts for a first down inside the 20.
Well, there's a little miscommunication in the back end. Ben Roethlisberger saw the late communication between the safeties, so coverage is late. See, the late coverage came right here. He's too far off, and Gilchrist allowed too much room for Vance McDonald, who he turns into a punisher after he catches the ball. He's looking to run something over. Run through it, over it, just go through it.
Rarely ever used with the 49ers. Since coming to the Steelers, he's become a big target. Stephen Ridley on the carry, dropped for a loss of a yard.
Good job by Justin Ellis coming off an injury. Played a little bit last week, and Coach Gruden talked about he should help our interior running game. Makes a great play right here. Just a penetration inside. Justin Ellis coming off the double team, not quitting when he goes to his knees and getting the TFL, tackle for loss.
First catch made by Antonio Brown, and he's inside the 15 to the 14. Brown had the monster first half last week in that loss to San Diego. 117 receiving yards in the first half. He wound up with 10 catches for 154. Going over the 1,000-yard receiving mark for a 6th straight year and a Steeler record 7th time.
Well, they know how to finish when they get this red zone. 77%. Something Randy Fichtner and Ben Roethlisberger talked about, how they focused on scoring in the red zone, getting better in the red zone. Certainly have done that this year.
3rd down. Roethlisberger gets it away. Brown inside the 5, down to the 2, 1st and goal Steelers.
It's amazing what speed does. Speed brings respect. Garyon Conley, nice cushion. He's going to backpedal off of this because he's worried about Antonio Brown, and that's just an easy out route and a timing route. Because of the cushion by Garyon Conley, that's pitch and catch, and that's all day for Brown and Roethlisberger.
Gain of 12. This will be the 11th play of this drive, which began back in the Steelers' 33. And the Steelers will spend a timeout. 1st and goal. Roethlisberger and company looking to tie it up in Oakland. Interesting note here, Steelers at home, lights out in the red zone. They're still good on the road, but not nearly as good.
Well, I think any team in the league will take 77%. Roosevelt Nix, fullback, checking in for the Steelers. Former defensive lineman at Kent State. Golden Flash, number 45.
Stephen Ridley behind him in the I formation. On 1st down and goal, they give it to Ridley, and he will find the end zone. A Steelers touchdown for Ridley. That's his first touchdown of this season. And his first rushing touchdown since the end of last year.
Well, Stephen Ridley's not going to make a lot of people miss. He's a one-cut runner, meaning getting north and south as quickly as possible. Nix with a good lead block right there. And Ridley, I love how he gets that little hop step right there to clear his feet and find his way into the end zone. Nice response by the Steelers.
Ever since Ridley had that fumble we mentioned earlier against Cleveland, he has only played in 1 game over the last 5. In fact, he had not played at all the last 3 weeks. But now with the injury to Connor, getting playing time and an early touchdown, and the point after is good by Boswell, who's missed 5 of those this year, so no guarantee. Raiders, Steelers, 7-7 in Oakland. If you're passing through the airport in Pittsburgh, PA, you'll see this, the Immaculate Reception. Of course, that's generally the first play I think most people think about, even if you're a hardcore Raiders fan, in this storied rivalry. And you say storied rivalry again, it's not like they've played year after year after year. They just had so many great teams roughly the same time frame. Dwayne Harris coming up to get it. And a good return out across the 28, close to the 30-yard line. The 1972 AFC divisional game, Oakland and Pittsburgh. Franco Harris picked that baby off the ground, ran in for the game-winning touchdown, 13-7, and dubbed the Immaculate Reception, the start of a bitter rivalry. And before the game today, how about this? Franco Harris and Phil Villapiano, former great Raider linebacker, coming out on the field together.
Time heals a lot of wounds. Franco Harris, one of the nicest men I've ever met. Great guy. I love talking football with Franco.
Carr on first down, wide open down the middle. And that's Jordy Nelson, coming off a big-time game where he had 10 catches, 97 yards, his highest total since week 3, the big breakout game against Miami. He's been battling a lot of injuries.
Yeah, and you talk about Jordy Nelson, where he can be effective right there, the play-action game, and something that the Raiders offense wants to improve upon. Executed perfectly. Best time to run play-action, first down, right? 50-50 run pass. Well done. Takes a little pressure off those rookie offensive tackles.
So now 232 straight pass attempts. Without a pick by Carr. And smothered at the line of scrimmage by Javon Hargrave is Doug Martin. You know, Gruden talked about growing up back in Ohio and then later South Bend, Indiana, and he said it brings me back to my childhood when I fell in love with the game of football watching the Raiders and the Steelers play.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Wide open. How in the world do you leave Jared Cook that wide open?
Because it's a lack of confidence in your coverage skills. Right, you're playing so far off. Jared Cook is going to have an easy run. You're going to give him a free release inside. There's no help inside. You're late on the break of the football. And Carr with tempo is getting in some type of rhythm now. But Jared Cook is the guy that you have to account for.
It's enough for a first down. And Martin, staying on his feet, picks up a hard-earned 3.
I love the way John Gruden and Derek Carr are operating right now. They're going a little bit of tempo. You get the Steelers worked a little bit, get them thinking, and you can get at the line of scrimmage. Now they're huddling up, but the fact that they go tempo is good for them. Allows Carr to survey the field, get a pre-snap read, and put them in the right play call, because he does have that ability and freedom to make the call at the line of scrimmage and change a play.
They'll call it a gain of 2, so second down and 8, and that ball knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Looked like Chewett got a paw on it. Been a good player for this team. Second round pick in 2014 out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, good players understand in this situation, if you're coming on a blitz and a good pass rusher takes his eyes off the offensive lineman, gets him on the quarterback, understands he's not getting there, but get the hands in the air to block it, so you don't quit on the play. You finish the play through even if you're not getting a sack.
Third down and 7, only a 4-man rush. And there is Cook yet again, and Morgan Burnett in coverage is having a hard time staying with Jared Cook. Of course, he's not alone.
Well, it's man-to-man coverage, right? And Cook is going to get a nice route, get a good push, and the route running ability. Look at the sharp angle, and the ball's delivered perfectly to Cook. Cook is giving him inside leverage. That's just an option route between Carr and Cook.
In the hands of Richard, and he's tripped up inside the 25-yard line. That'll be a gain of close to 9, maybe 8. As the Raiders are trying to break this 7-7 tie with 9:12 to go in the half.
Richard had 6 carries for 95 yards last week. Also excellent wide receiver, not only out of the backfield, but he's one of those guys which we see in the NFL all around. Guys that go in the slot position, be a running back or play wide receiver.
Richard again, and lost his footing trying to cut it back to the inside. It'll bring up third down.
Excellent job by the Steelers front seven, building a wall on that line of scrimmage, forcing the ball to cut back to the on-block player. You might want to take Cooks, or you might want to look at Richard. Find out Jared Cook, where he is, and get him working in a one-on-one situation over here in the slot.
Clearly miscommunication there with Jordy Nelson, unless he lost his footing. But my, oh my, Cook was open again.
Let's get the cleats checked for the Steelers too. This is near disaster because we have a world-class athlete that can't keep his feet out of a break. Everything is thrown and based off of timing. When you fall down, the timing's screwed up. It's almost a big play for Mike Hilton.
44-yard field goal try for Carlson. We mentioned he has been so good since joining the Raiders. 9 out of 10. Good snap, good hold, and right down the middle for Daniel Carlson. So the beat goes on. 10 of 11. Some of the names we were talking about: Chuck Noll, the late Al Davis, Biletnikoff, Franco, Bigley. Couple of big completions on that field goal scoring drive to Jared Cook, but could not convert on a third down.
They might be saying, hey, Jared Cook's been pretty successful. You might want to stay with it because the Steelers are having a very difficult time matching up with Jared Cook.
Let's see if Schwitzer's cleats are any better. He won't have a chance to bring it back. Twin brothers defend their titles in a huge night of fights on Fox. Jermell Charlo takes on Willie Monroe Jr. And his twin brother Jermell Charlo defends his belt against Tony Harrison. PBC December 22nd, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. That's a great story. Twin brothers.
Nice.
Ben Roethlisberger leads the NFL in passing yards. Most teams have been surprised. A lot of fans have been surprised how much they have thrown the ball this year. Off the left side, this will be Samuels for a gain of 2, maybe 3. And let's wait on the penalty flag behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 59. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Let's tie here Whitehead, and we check in for the first time today with Kurt Menefee. Hi, Kurt.
Hello, Tom. Say hello to the end zone for Austin Eckler. Playing in place of the injured Melvin Gordon. He gets a 5-yard touchdown run, and the Chargers are off and running, up 14-6 at home over the Bengals. Of course, they beat the Steelers last week and have won 8 of 9. Tom and Chris.
The Chargers 9-3 on the year. Trying to keep pace with Kansas City. One game back going into play today. The Chiefs winning in overtime. And the Chargers and the Chiefs will play next week. What a huge game that will be. Roethlisberger complete to Jesse James, and that's to the 47-yard line.
Well, the Raiders are playing a lot of zone. And the problem with playing zone, I get it, but with Big Ben and that receiving core and all the weapons, tight ends, Juju, Antonio Brown, all these guys, he does not misread a zone. Those guys understand the weakness of the zone, and they'll attack it efficiently. Right there, it's just easy 5-yard game.
Roethlisberger 10 of 12, 91 yards to start the game. And that'll be a first down completion and more to Smith-Schuster. A first down to the Oakland 38-yard line.
One thing Paul Guenther was very concerned about coming this is run after catch. And if you do play off and you do play zone, one of the reasons is you can get a good break on the football, as Worley does, but he leaves his feet in the strength of Juju Smith-Schuster just running through him. Good rack yards. You got to make plays in space. That's where Smith-Schuster and Antonio Brown kill you. Run after catch.
There's Paul Guenther, the defensive coordinator in Cincinnati until this year. Under Marvin Lewis, he's gone toe-to-toe season after season with very little success against Roethlisberger and the Steelers. strong running, and a flag comes in again, and this might be on the Raiders again to the 31-yard line on a catch by Samuels.
This is an effort play by Jonathan Hankins, and he gets that big arm around there to try to stop the screen. I do believe he grabbed the face mask of Samuels. It's a
Personal
good read.
foul, face mask, defense, number 90. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play.
Never thought you'd talk about a
Automatic first
Buckeye
down.
making a mistake.
Well, I'll tell you, Jonathan Hankins does a good job of reading the screen right here, getting on the hip of the offensive lineman, and right there's the grab of the face mask and the strength of Samuels to run through that. Unfortunate play. 2 face masks back-to-back, 30 yards and penalties on the Raiders. Steelers offense doesn't need a lot of help, by the way, moving the football.
You got that right. They average 29 points per game, 4th highest scoring team in the NFL. 2 big penalties on this drive. 15-yarders, and Samuels is inside the 15. That'll be a gain of 2. It's been well told, the whole running back situation for Mike Tomlin's team. Le'Veon Bell deciding not to come back and play this year, walking away from tens of millions of dollars. Connor, a great story, having an excellent year, nearly 1,000-yard rusher, over 50 receptions. But got hurt in the 4th quarter last week against San Diego, and not up today. Or against the Chargers. I keep calling him San Diego. Throw to the end zone. Looking for Washington, and excellent coverage down there by Daryl Worley.
Great job by Worley right there, playing man coverage. Raiders will play more man in the red zone because you're picking up a 12th defender. You don't have to cover as long. That back line in the end zone. It's going back to the running backs. It's a next man up business. We all know that in NFL. One man's loss is another man's opportunity, and today's Jaylen Samuels' opportunity. There's Jaylen in the slot.
They've had conversions of 3rd and 13, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 8. And now another 3rd and 8. And down goes Roethlisberger. And that's a veteran, Clinton McDonald, and only the 11th sack all year long by this Raiders defense.
So they're going to get an assist from P.J. Hall. P.J. Hall is going to set up Clinton McDonald, who's going to come around, and P.J. Hall gets the penetration right here. Then right happens is Ramon Foster is late coming off of that, does not see the pick play by P.J. Hall, and Clinton McDonald is there to clean it up. Good strength by Roethlisberger not to lose that football.
So now Boswell, a Pro Bowler a year ago, has not been that this year. And this is wide right. It is unbelievable the difference between last year and this year for Mike Tomlin's field goal kicker. That sack a moment ago, Roethlisberger may have been shaken up.
Now he took a shot right there. McDonald working a stunt with P.J. Hall, and see him slow getting up. He's a tough guy. He's taken a lot of shots over the years, but what a time for the Raiders' 11th sack of the season.
That is the 495th time in his career that Roethlisberger has been sacked. That is the 3rd most in NFL history.
False start. Offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
I mean, think about that for a minute. You know, only
shots,
Brett
man.
Favre and John Elway in the history of the National Football League have been sacked more frequently than Ben Roethlisberger.
You know, I've been in discussions with people why he takes sacks, because he holds on to the ball, waits for things to get open. Actually, this year he's the fastest to get rid of the football at 2.56 per seconds. So that's not the case this year. Hayward.
Well, of course, he's a Buckeye. We knew we were going to hear about that.
He's a Steeler, and he does a great job of using his hands. I mean, we talk about offensive linemen and how important their hands are. Watch Hayward's hands right here as a defensive lineman. See him get that extension, and he's able to separate.
Early movement once again.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 48. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
That's Bud Dupree.
Good changeup by Carr. Get a cheap 5 back, right? Excellent game management.
Mike Tomlin in his 12th year as head man of the Pittsburgh Steelers. 46 years young, grew up in Newport News, Virginia. Boy, we enjoyed our conversation with both these head coaches the last couple of days. And now Carr is dropped on the blitz by Mike Hilton. So the 5 they picked up, they just skim away.
Well, that's right there, Keith Butler, right? We weren't blitzing a lot in the first part of the game. Now he's starting to get aggressive, 2nd and 8. Maybe they got to read like we got to read on Martin and Brandon Parker, calling blitz accordingly. You know, a lot of times, Tom, by formation, you can call either a blitz or 2 different defensive plays. We always talk about audibilizing on offense. You can audible on defense, have 2 different play calls, run a blitz or not a blitz, depending on formation and alignment.
Just do get it off, and it's knocked down again at the line of scrimmage, and this time by T.J. Watt. So the Raiders will punt 4th down.
It's good awareness again. Recognizing 3-step drop, understanding you don't have time to get to the quarterback on a 3-step drop. So what do? You just get those hands in the throwing lane. Here comes Watt off the edge. This is a 3-step drop. It's catch and throw. Watt knows he can't get there, but what he does do is get up and disrupt and get the hands in the throwing lane.
Well, now the Steelers will get it back before the half, and this is when they have been at their best on offense this year. The final drive of the first half. And the drive will begin at the 32. The Steelers have scored 7 touchdowns this year on their final drive of the first half of the game.
See a flag. I think they're going to get another face mask. Eric Harris. That's 3 face mask penalties. 45 yards of penalties on face mask alone.
Personal foul, face mask, kicking team, number 25. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. It's Pittsburgh's ball, 1st down.
Well, you said it earlier, you don't need to give these Steelers any help on offense. And now, rather than starting inside the 35, this drive will begin almost at midfield after the face mask penalty. How about this guy, number 75, one of the all-time great Raiders, our Fox colleague Howie Long, a 2000 Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee, and John Gruden, Bill Villapiano, among others, Lester Hayes. Remember him?
37.
Stick 'em all over his hand.
37, George Atkinson.
No, wait.
Great players. Howie had that uppercut rip. Nobody could block the rip. Nice.
Samuels dropped right at the line of scrimmage by Nicholas Morrow, 2nd-year backer out of Greenville.
I say nice because it's a good form tackle, right? We talk about Ryan Shazier with the Steelers, what an inspiration he is. I see number 50. Morrow's going to come in. He's going to keep his head up, his eyes up. He's going to get his head out of the way, and he's going to bring his feet and not stop his feet on contact. I don't care what team it is. I celebrate good tackling. Well done. Fundamentals.
Of course, Ryan Shazier just certainly a miracle before your very eyes as he continues to train at the Steelers facility. It was roughly a year ago this week he was injured in Cincinnati. Back shoulder throw, Juju Smith-Schuster to the 33-yard line.
Now, this is so tough to cover because of the timing and trust and the work that these guys put in practice. Smith-Schuster is so late to come back, but he's able to work back. Ben puts it on the back shoulder on purpose. He's going to catch that easy ball.
2-minute warning. Steelers on the move. You're talking about the incredible miracle that is Ryan Shazier. It was in a game against the Bengals. 1-year anniversary this past Tuesday. And look at him now, Chris. It's just, you say your prayers. It's unbelievable.
Well, Ryan's such a great guy and a great player. And we talked to Mike Tomlin about Ryan. And, you know, Ryan inspires everybody. Inspires the whole Steelers. He inspires me every day by the comeback that he's making. Just amazing.
And he says he wants to come back, play again, and go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
There you go.
First down. And And the catch is made by McDonald, and he's inside the 15, down to the 11, and the first down for the Steelers.
Such a great play design. You're going to see Ryan Shazier is going to, McDonald's going to come out here for a screen, but watch Ryan Shazier, Switzer, I got Ryan on my mind, come over from backside to be a lead blocker for Vance McDonald. That's just getting an extra blocker, bringing him from the backside. Well-designed play, and Vance McDonald, he gets in the open field again. He's looking for somebody to run over.
Quick throw, and Brown, not much yardage there. Actually spotted that completed pass to McDonald in the 13, and that completion maybe picked up a yard to Brown. 1:20 to play until halftime. The Steelers have 2 timeouts remaining. And a second down and 9 at the Oakland 12. That should have been intercepted in the end zone, and that has been a big problem for Roethlisberger this year. He has thrown 4 interceptions in the red zone already this season.
It's a nice job by Carl Joseph of getting back and forcing the high throw, feeling Smith-Schuster behind him. An opportunity to make a play. He did have 2 hands on that ball. Just missed it. Ben's not afraid to throw a tough throw. He's going to try to fit it in there. He's got great confidence in his arm and his receivers.
They're down to 9. They can get a first down just outside the 3. Great protection. Now the pocket breaks down. Lay it off to McDonald. What a stutter step. And very close to a first down by the tight end McDonald. What a move going right by Morrow.
Well, we talked about Morrow in open field tackling. This time he's going to duck his head. McDonald's going to come and check for a blitz. Then he's going to sneak out and be a check down player right here. One of the fears that Gunther had coming into this game was tackling in space in an open field. Not only with Smith-Schuster and Antonio Brown, but certainly Vance could make people miss in space.
It is enough for a first down. First and goal, 35 seconds remain. They put it in the hands of Samuels. And he is dropped, and the Steelers will call a timeout. So coming up on halftime, and the guys are getting revved up down in Los Angeles. How about it, Kirk Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, we'll look at that unbelievable ending in the Dolphins-Patriots game. The Chiefs and Ravens go into overtime, and we'll get caught up on the Bengals against the Chargers, plus the Broncos and Niners. Strike a pose. The Visa halftime is next.
That's the way I feel when I stand next to Chris Spiel.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Steelers have
I'm pretty sure.
one timeout left. Still run the football. You got plenty of time to do that. Use your timeout. Not going to with Vance McDonald. All running backs are out of the game. It's tough matchups across the board.
Switzer in motion. And they throw it to Switzer, but he fell down again. Remember, Switzer had to have his cleats changed because he fell down returning a punt and a kickoff, and this should have been a touchdown.
Well, they run a nice little pick route right here, and if he catches it clean and keeps his feet, that ball is thrown behind him a little bit. If Ben puts that out in front of him, it's a touchdown, but he did fall, and Switzer is such a good athlete at the 3rd time that he falls, and he understands that he missed the opportunity. But to be quite honest, usually Ben will put that out in front of him so he doesn't have to rotate and turn his hips to catch the football.
Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Yeah, Tom, no, he has not changed his cleats yet. Those are the exact ones that he's been wearing the entire game. They did just bring them out, so those are still sitting in the bag on the sideline.
Good play for him. All right, 3rd down and goal. You're going to hand it off. You're out of timeouts here.
No, I think you throw the football. Some type of pick route right here between McDonald and Samuels, possibly.
Into the end zone. And it is no. tipped into the air by Smith-Schuster. But he was unable to come down cleanly with it and get both feet in bounds. Well, he was wide open, and Ben missed him. Or did he?
Yeah, that's a touchdown. That's a touchdown right there. They're going to bring that back.
Well, of course, they will review this. Final 2 minutes of the half, and Dean Blandino, former head of NFL officials. You see it the way we do, Dean. It looked like he got both feet in bounds, I should say, after getting control of the football.
Yeah, to me, this is a touchdown. He bobbles the ball, then he gets control. He gets the right toe down, the left toe down, maintains control all the way to the ground. That's a touchdown. Replay should overturn this.
I tell you, the more I watch it, more and more, though, I'm wondering about the control on the left foot. Watch the left foot here. We saw the right one come down.
There's the right. Now let's look at the left.
Yep.
Right there.
6 points. A great catch.
All right, Dean Blandino, we thank you. He'll be with us throughout the rest of the day. And again, the NFL really zeroing in on this catch rule during the offseason. Mike Tomlins is on the competition committee.
Yep.
Got to have control of the football.
I think he had the first two. Right there. Tip drill. Concentration, understand where he is on the field, and the ability to get both feet down in bounds. Touchdown. Steelers.
The Pittsburgh receiver established control of the ball, got 2 feet down in bounds, and survived initial contact with the ground. It's a completed catch for a touchdown.
So it is a touchdown. And what a year it is for Smith-Schuster. Closing in on 100 receptions for the year already, over 1,100 receiving yards. Well, you talk about a 1-2 knockout punch. He along with Antonio Brown. So now the point after, and they're not taking anything for granted. And off the right upright, and it sneaks through for Chris Boswell. He's missed 5 of those this year. So it took the Steelers a little while to get things going here, but that is now the 8th time this season. Think about that. The 8th time the Steelers' final drive in the first half of a game did they come away with a touchdown. And let's remember now, they won the toss, and they will get the ball, Chris, to begin the third quarter.
Well, it's just great confidence in their offensive line. I mean, it all starts up front. They're 4th in the league in sacks given up. They've only given up 17 sacks on the year. You hit on it. The skill players, right?
Oh,
Vance
man.
McDonald, Smith-Schuster, Antonio Brown, Ryan Switzer. All these guys are playmakers. Ben spreads the ball around, so it's very difficult to defend them, and he forces you to defend the whole field by spreading the ball all over the field.
Well, this is such a treat to have a chance to call. Rarely on Fox do we have 2 AFC teams playing, and here you have the Raiders and the Steelers. Does it get much better than that?
The Raiders have played well this half, and I look for them where they were successful in the first half on offense. They were successful when they went a little bit up tempo, and they got Jared Cook involved early. Come back to that.
And this one through the back of the end zone, so with 10 ticks remaining. We brought up earlier that Baltimore gave Kansas City all it wanted and then some. The Chiefs winning in overtime, and really that's a huge lift with New England's loss for home field advantage. The Steelers are thinking about moving up the totem pole after the Texans lost as well today.
Well, and the mentality of the Steelers was that after the loss to the LA Chargers the other night, playoffs start. You see they have their playoff face on. Started slow, but certainly answered with 14.
Steelers again get the ball to start the third quarter. And our DirecTV play the first half for your thing, that's our thing. DirecTV overturning the call, the touchdown reception by Smith-Schuster. And the Steelers will go to the locker room with a 14-10 lead over the Oakland Raiders. We'll be back with more. 14-10 Pittsburgh. Martin over the top, and he is in for the touchdown, Oakland Raiders.
Tip drill, concentration, understand where he is on the field, and the ability to get both feet down in bounds. Touchdown.
Today's game flow brought to you by Progressive alongside Chris Spielman, Shannon Spake, Tom Brenneman back in Oakland. If you're the Raiders, you're 2-10 on the year. You have ideas of trying to spoil things here for the Steelers with 4 weeks to go, and you're hanging in there 14-10.
Yeah, they are. The problem they had a little bit, they had some untimely penalties.
Yeah.
Obviously, 3 face masks put Pittsburgh in great field position. You give an offense like that, they will take advantage of it.
Well, you look at the Raiders after a pretty good start on offense. They had more penalty yards in the second quarter than they had yards of total offense. And some of the numbers, Steelers only 6 rushing yards. And again, you go from Le'Veon Bell, what could have been, should have been, whatever, to James Conner hurt. And now all of a sudden you're piecing things together. So we're set to go here in the second half, and as we mentioned, the Steelers will get the football against John Gruden's defense. Switzer will take a knee. And let's check in with Shannon Spake downstairs.
Well, you guys mentioned in that first half how Ben Roethlisberger was shaken up on that first half sack. Now, he was being looked at by the doctors during the halftime. He also left the half early. I asked Mike Tomlin about that, and he said he fully expects him to come out here and play, but he has not yet come onto the field, guys, and you can see that Josh Dobbs is out there.
How about that? First-year quarterback out of Tennessee, drafted by the Steelers in the 4th round, 2017. He's played in 4 games.
180! What's up?
And on first down, he'll turn around and hand it off to Samuels, who picks up close to 4. And this was a shot on Roethlisberger there in the early part of the second quarter.
That's Clinton McDonald coming around and taking Big Ben down. I don't know exactly what they're looking at, but he did finish the first half. Joshua Dobbs, 4th round pick out of Tennessee. Expected to be conservative. Offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner in the play calling.
180! What's up?
And Dobbs going to cut it loose. Great protection, and now he's forced out and he can run the football. We saw him do that a lot at Tennessee, and very close to a first down and very close to another Raider penalty it is. Boy, if there are some things that never change, it's death taxes and Oakland Raiders committing stupid penalties.
Well,
it's been going on forever.
I understand that, and I'm not sure that this is a penalty because I don't think it was a vicious hit. And I don't know what kind of force he pushed him out with.
Personal foul. Defense. Number 55. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Markel Lee. As Dobbs is a runner right now, let's see if he's still in bounds. He was still in bounds, and he gave him a push. Now, I don't know the rule on that regards. We'll get Dean Blandino. Because he's a runner, you're allowed to push him, I believe, with a little extra vigor. I would say that somewhat sarcastically, Dean, if he's still in bounds and he's running the football.
We'll check in with Dean Blandino down in Los Angeles about that call. It's what, the 4th 15-yard penalty of this game already. Charge to the Raiders. And here's Samuels. Cuts it back to the inside. That'll be a gain of almost 10. What about it, Dean Blandino? Did you think that should have been a penalty on Oakland?
No, I didn't like it as a penalty. The contact occurs before the runner gets out of bounds. He's a runner. He's going toward the sideline, but he has to get out of bounds to get that protection. it's right at the sticks. The defender has to have an opportunity to make a play. There was nothing to the head. He didn't lower the helmet, and it looked to me like a legal play.
It's illegal. It's a legal play, and it's a bad call. But you got to rally, right? When you're 2 and 10 or whatever you are, you don't get a lot of calls. 180. What's up?
Dobbs turns around and hands it again to Samuels, and this time no running room, and another penalty flag comes in. Carl Joseph coming up to make the tackle. Four 15-yard penalties in this game.
Offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
All of them against Oakland, and that's a holding penalty by the tight end Jesse James to back him up.
This was where James Conner will be missed. Big Ben is in the locker room getting treated. You have a young quarterback in there, Joshua Dobbs. You tried to throw a play action with Matt's protection. That's where he took off and ran. But you have to establish something on the ground, because that will help Joshua Dobbs with any type of play action game you might want to insert into this offense.
Dobbs is 2 out of 3 throwing the ball this year. And now looking at a second down and 10. He will look to throw it. And nowhere close on the crossing route to Smith-Schuster. The last time that Dobbs played, he entered the game in the fourth quarter of that route over the Panthers, completing 1 pass for a loss of 3 yards.
3rd and 10, and the Raiders right now, they know they have difficulty matching up man-to-man, athlete for athlete against the Steelers. You play zone, you drop to the sticks, and the one thing you want to force him to do, check it down, and you want to make tackles in space if you're a Raider defender. See if they can get a pass rush.
Dobbs steps in there and delivers. It's broken up. That's a good play by Worley, the 3rd-year corner, former Panther out of West Virginia.
It's a really good break by Daryl Worley. Right here, understanding James Washington working up the field. And I like the fact that he doesn't climb the back to get a pass interference. Comes in with that left arm. And I'll tell you, that ball usually, Big Ben, you see how that ball was high? You throw that ball low, so you force the DB to go through the pass catcher to get a possible interference. Throw it high, you give the DB a chance.
Oh, they almost got it. No penalty flag. And a fair catch by Harris at the 14-yard line. It was almost blocked by Derek Carrier. Just missed it. Oh, when they get together, these teams. Oh, wow. That's on Lynn Swan, George Atkinson. Terry Bradshaw taking a big hit. Mel Blunt, Jack Lambert.
Joe Green coming in with the right hook to the body. They would have got a lot of firmly worded emails back in that day.
And a lot of fouls. First down is a catch. All right, well, big news we're just getting from the Steelers locker room. Let's check in with Shannon.
Right, Tom, you know, Ben Roethlisberger still in the locker room being evaluated. They have listed him as questionable to return to this game with a rib injury. So we'll certainly watch that locker room to see if he comes back out.
That last series, he didn't look like he was hurting. Delivering the football on time, on target.
Hey, play Billy! 28.
Short strike, and it will be good enough for a first down to Jordy Nelson.
I love the play calling by John Gruden and Derek Carr. Call 2 plays in the huddle, give Derek the freedom to check off to the better one. Right there, 3-step drop, gets him in rhythm, gets Jordy involved.
Penalty flag down. Doug Martin wrapped up by Tuitt.
Big Colton Miller, I think, on the grab right here.
Holding. Offense, number 77. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Well, when you start 2 rookie tackles, the idea was to have Donald Penn over on the right side, but he was injured going all the way back to week 4. You knew that Miller was going to be a starter. But now all of a sudden you're going with Miller and Brandon Parker.
Yeah, and Colton Miller is getting better. He was struggling a little bit with a knee problem, played through it. The more reps he receives, the better he'll become. First round pick, good player.
Carr had plenty of time to throw it, then it broke down, and Bud Dupree is there, picking up his 5th sack of the season.
Here's Bud Dupree right here, and let's see the Steelers and what they do to generate pass rush. Remember, coming in, their leading sack team, only bringing 4. They show like they're bringing 5, but Bud Dupree keeps working and rolling, working on Colton Miller, beats him with speed around the edge, and David Carr has to be able to feel that and get rid of the football. Step up into the pocket.
Looked like a nice start to this drive for the Raiders, and now the penalty is sack inside their own 10. And White not going anywhere.
Oh, TJ Watt just does a great job right here. It's just a beautiful job. He didn't make the tackle, but by understanding the defense, he forces the ball to bounce inside. He's going to take 41 and make the tackle with him. Watch TJ Watt come in and understand what his responsibility is by forcing the ball back inside. Look at that shot right there. And he knows where his defenders are and where the help is coming from. Your responsibility first.
Right of Pewaukee, Wisconsin. Across the middle, nowhere near a first down, up to the 20-yard line to Jared Cook, and the Raiders will punt it. Of course, he had brother against brother again last week. What a player he has turned into. TJ Watt, first-round pick a year ago, a Wisconsin Badger.
Yeah, plays run and pass equally well. Great pass rusher. Good kick.
Well, it's been a great day for Townsend. Driving Switzer all the way back inside his 30 and brings it up close to the 40. And again, still no Ben Roethlisberger. Joshua Dobbs on in relief. Steelers trying to pick up a game against the losing Ravens earlier today.
You know, I never tell guys how to get ready for a series, and why not this guy? Lord of the Dance, Michael Flatley, must be auditioning. Irish dance, hip-hop, we got it all.
Did you used to do that from time to time?
That wasn't my
in
thing.
Massillon, Ohio.
But I'm not going to tell Juju how to do it because he's a performer and he produces. Whatever you need to do, get ready, get ready.
You mean the legendary head coach Sonny Spielman was not a big fan of the Irish jig? First down throw. And right on the numbers to Smith-Schuster. That's how he got ready for the drive.
you got
As if on cue.
He's been such a find. Kevin Colbert did a great job of finding Juju Smith-Schuster out of USC. And again, understanding and awareness and body control to keep both feet inbounds. Just beautiful job. Athletic ability, everything you want. And that's a way to help your quarterback out, the young guy, on a high throw.
Third completion of this season for Dobbs. And the first since taking over for Roethlisberger, who just now is coming out of the Steeler locker room. And he is going to start circling back around the far end zone. And he looks like he's coming back out there to play football.
Ready to roll.
I think the Raiders are challenging that call on the sideline. We'll be right back.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. It's a completed catch, first down. Oakland will be charged with its first time out of the half.
You know, Chris, we wondered if he stepped out of bounds before he came back in to make the catch.
I don't know. I can't tell from our angle. He definitely got 2 feet in bounds. You see the left foot. The referees, you normally spot that on the field, drop the hat. You can't be the first one to touch the ball if you step out of bounds.
So it will be a first down reception made by Smith-Schuster. And, you know, Dean Blandino back in Los Angeles, I guess we just couldn't tell whether or not he stepped out of bounds, because if he did, you can't come back in and be the first guy to touch it, right?
Exactly. And what's interesting about this play is the line judge actually throws his hat.
Right.
Which means that he has the receiver stepping out of bounds prior to touching it. But then they get together, the line judge and field judge start talking about it. And the field judge must have convinced the line judge that he didn't step out. And now it just becomes not enough to change.
All right, so the Steelers will take it. Samuels Wrapped up by Frosty Rucker. Boy, he just keeps going, doesn't he? Drafted all the way back by the Cincinnati Bengals out of USC in 2006 and still playing good football.
35 years old.
Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Well, Tom, you saw Ben Roethlisberger come out of the locker room. He did have his helmet in his hand at that point. He does not right now. Standing on the sidelines, baseball cap on, watching Josh Dobbs out there on the field.
All right, so Dobbs facing a 2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard gain by Samuels, and they lay it off to Samuels out of the backfield. Breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, and lunges forward inside the 45. It'll bring up 3rd down and maybe 2.
Well, that's just a great effort by Jalen Samuels. You know, James Conner is outstanding on screen passes. Certainly, Jalen feels comfortable catching the ball out of the backfield. Good setup and a nice call by Randy Fichtner to keep the pressure off of his quarterback to make an easy throw and get in a 3rd manageable situation.
Well, they're very excited to see, you know, what Samuels was capable of doing, or so said Mike Tomlin, our conversation with him yesterday. Didn't touch the ball a lot. 5 receptions. Does have 9 carries, now attempt to try and get a 1st down. And he will be smothered short of the 1st down. The rookie out of LSU, Arden Key, coming down the line to make the stop. And a decision now for Mike Tomlin, who's not afraid to go for it on a 4th down.
Now, just Arden Key does a tremendous job right here of working down the line. Number 99. Working off blocks right here, coming across the crackback block by Juju Smith-Schuster. Not a very good effort by Juju. Arden Key defeats that battle and hustles down the line of scrimmage to get a good open field tackle to put it 4th and short.
Well, Gunther's team's done a nice job shutting down the Steeler run game. Pittsburgh 6 of 9 going for it on 4th down this year. Now they're going to have to spend a timeout. And we're back after this message.
Anytime you're in this situation, watch the hard count. Watch the hard count. And he's saying that now it's the linebacker or the play caller's job in the huddle to alert the defensive lineman of watch the hard count. But if I'm playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm betting they're going to take their shot at this, especially their defense is playing well.
Still Joshua Dobbs jogging out from that sideline.
Stephen Ridley in the ball game.
And Dobbs can run the ball. So him carried for a 1st down. Or close to a 1st down. On his last drive. 4th and 1. And they're going to run it. Nope, they're going to throw it. And did McDonald get there? He did not. What a play by Whitehead. The Raider defense sliced up all year long, playing good football today.
Whitehead making a play when a play needs to be made, understanding that if you're in man coverage, that takes precedent first and foremost. But I'll give you a reason after this play why he had a good key on that.
All right, so now the Raiders with the football from their own 42-yard line, play action, and lofting to Cook. It's incomplete. Another penalty flag.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
Here's Tahir Whitehead. Why he doesn't get sucked up into play action, because these guys aren't going this way. They're going sideways. So they're not going to run the ball with the offensive lineman going sideways and getting depth, allowing Whitehead to pick up McDonald on a crossing route. Plus they're in man coverage. That takes precedent over any run fake all day. That's disciplined defense by Tahir.
And yet another penalty against the Raiders. Quick slant will get a chunk of it back. Reception made by Seth Roberts. It's up to the 45-yard line. That'll be a gain of 13. So 2nd down coming up after the penalty backed him up.
Hit your phone. Hit your phone.
Richard in the backfield has had a very, very quiet game. This guy's an excellent receiver out of the backfield. So is this guy. What a year it's been for Jared Cook. In Tennessee, went to Green Bay, the Rams.
Well, to me, he's a solid. He's like a wide receiver. First of all, he's physical at the line of scrimmage. Edmonds tries to bump him, but he gets knocked off balance. He doesn't break stride, and Derek Carr is able to deliver him a catchable ball, and he's so good with run after catch.
He's had 3 100-yard receiving games coming in. That is his 4th 100-yard receiving game, as T.J. Watt is there to meet Martin.
Well, again, Watt, we talked about his ability to play, run, and pass. Not going upfield at all as a pass rusher, and is able to keep his eyes up, head up, and get a great tackle for loss. But that's recognition right there. Nothing to do with the pass rush. Had a good key on his key as far as Parker's right foot being even with his left foot. That tells him run. When his right foot is back, that tells him pass. He's got that key, and he made a great read on that. Smart football player.
Pump fake one way, back the other way into traffic, and the reception is made. And getting back onto his feet is Carrier. And they're going to say he's down back at the 12-yard line, 13-yard line. But what a throw by Carr.
Boy, the toughness of Carr to hang in there, knowing a hit is coming, throwing off his back foot. And you see, hurry up offense, get it going up tempo.
Hand it off to Martin. Nowhere to go.
This is just Derek Carr right here. Going to work the seam route with Carrier inside of Edmonds, and that ball's perfectly thrown in between coverage on the outside, in between the safety. Yeah, that's the catch. Carrier does a great job, and he was tagged down. Before he got up and running, he's still down with that knee on the ground.
No gain on the carry by Martin. So second down, and Martin will get it again. And again, just nowhere to go. So now you run back-to-back plays here from the 13-yard line and not picked up a single yard. It's third down.
Third down, you're bringing Richard in, number 30, who can operate out of the slot receiver position. If Derek Carr gets a matchup with a linebacker on Richard, that'll be his first read. And of course, the one guy you have to be concerned with down here is Jared Cook, number 87, working up here on the top side against Morgan Burnett.
I would imagine he'll be looking that way with Carr. Nope, never looked that way. Comes the other way. And short of a first down on a completed pass to Jordy Nelson, but a penalty flag again is down behind the line of scrimmage, and John Gruden already just shaking his head. And you can understand why. Over 100 yards of penalties.
75. 10-yard penalty. Replay third down.
100. And we have 2:47 to go in the third quarter.
Brandon Parker working on Watt right here. He's able to get those hands. Yeah. That's a tough call. But again, when you're 2-10 and it just seems like you never get a break because Watt actually slipped. He did not take him down. Maybe a little bit of a hook, but sometimes that's called, sometimes it's not.
Third down and 19. Carr looking around, dancing around, and had the ball deflected. Is that a live ball or is that an incompleted pass? Incompleted pass. Or is it? No, they're saying it's a fumble, and the ball belongs to the Steelers. And again, we have to wait on this one.
So if Derek Carr's looking up into the camera in the replay to see if he lets it loose, I don't know if the ball. Yeah, the ball slips out of his hands before his hand comes forward. I think that's a fumble. That's definitely a fumble. I wonder if Dean agrees. Dean?
I agree. Remember, the hand coming forward with control starts the passing motion. The ball is coming off his fingertips before the hand comes forward. That's a fumble and recovered by the defense.
See right there, as Dean said, no.
Good look. Yeah.
No control. And you can tell when a guy's guilty because, Dean, if he's looking up at the replay board here, he's double checking to see maybe I can catch a break. And that's right where Derek Carr's eyes went. And he wanted to make sure. And I know how frustrating that is for Derek and this offense. And big problem with the Raiders, obviously, this year, Tom, has been the self-inflicted wounds. The fumbles like that, they're just bad luck. Bad calls, face masks, things like that have hurt them all year.
Alrighty, so it was covered up by Mike Hilton, and it's still Ben Roethlisberger walking up and down the Steelers sideline rather than coming back out at quarterback. Dobbs on in relief.
180.
Neither team has scored here in the second half. And Ridley looking for running room, and Markel Lee says no deal. Second down.
Well, you talk about how with a new quarterback, how it changes an offensive mind's game plan, right? Well, it also changes Paul Guenther, the defensive coordinator. All of a sudden, they're not worried about Antonio Brown running down the field. They're not worried about Juju Smith-Schuster running down the field. So also they know they're going to run the ball, so you can get your best run defenses and put your guys in position to stop the run, which they think the Steelers are going to try to do.
Antonio Brown just 3 receptions in this game for a total of 16 yards, and 12 of them came on one catch. Ridley again and again nowhere to go. Let's go downstairs to Shannon Spink.
Yeah, I asked John Gruden about that at halftime, and he told me, you know what, they've got 2 really good receivers, and that's great for them. It's bad for us. Certainly, he's been able to balance it out a little bit, but specifically, he just said third down defense and the penalties. We've talked about it all game long, really hurt themselves.
Well, they got a chance to make a play on third down right here. Now, they only have 11 sacks on the year, 1 including today. Somebody's going to step up and make a play. P.J. Hall's got good pressure inside. But Arden Key right here, speed guy.
Steelers are 5 of 9 on third down, and now Dobbs. Great protection, now flushed out of the pocket. He can run, and he'll get a first down. Boy, that is a backbreaker for the Raiders on defense.
A good decision. Rather than forcing the ball, he's going to take a throwing lane and turn it into a running lane, and understanding with zone coverage, guys are sitting inside, he has a clear path to first down. Good decision, poised decision, not to force the football, but to pick it up with his feet.
Right here, 5-9.
Dobbs playing in his 5th game this season. Although this is the first one with any sort of pressure at all in the game. The others have been decided. Took a big hit. And the ball is on the ground, and I believe they're saying incompleted pass. Yes, they are. Key was the guy who made the big hit.
You see right here, and again, it's you see Derek Carr say, hey, maybe this happened. And here's Dobbs, here's Key coming off the edge. Beating Matt Filer. And I think his arm, let's see if he does have control with that hand, as Dean, ooh, that's close. That's close.
And this will be challenged on the field. Hankins was the one who covered it up.
Now, I wonder if that left hand of Arden Key was able to knock that ball loose.
All right, Dean, we're going to go to you again. How do you see
Oakland
it
has challenged the ruling in the field of the
this
previous
time?
play of an incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
What do you think?
This is extremely close. Remember, the hand coming forward with control. They ruled it a pass. We got some great looks here. And is that ball coming off of his hand before the hand comes forward? I think this is a fumble, but whenever I say think, is it truly definitive? It's going to be a very, very close decision.
I think Arden Key's left hand jars the ball loose right here. I don't think he's coming forward with control. Right there, I think that ball is jarred loose in his hand, Dean, and that should be a fumble. I'm not going to say think. I think that's That is a
Well,
fumble.
I like that. I like that. You're a defensive guy. You want the fumble. I get it. No. But again, the hand coming forward, to me, I like it as a fumble as well. I just always go back to if they have any doubt, they're going to let it stand.
Yeah.
There is a clear recovery by Oakland. And again, if I'm looking at this, I'm going to make it a fumble.
All right. We'll see.
I'm just waiting for the first time when you and Dean Blandino disagree on something.
Well,
I mean, he always goes with a big, strong guy here in the booth, not the pencil neck guy like me.
no, I look. It's just amazing, though, like how close the Raiders are.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
There's a lot of close plays that just aren't going their way. And, you know, you look at Pittsburgh, who's fighting for a playoff berth. They have a call that's so close where Derek Carr, he fumbled a football. This one, to me, it's a fumble, but we'll see what the replay decides. But it just seems to go that way. If things are going bad, things go bad. Just, man, that was close. We almost had that.
Well, I mean, you just look at their game last week. I mean, they were right there with Kansas City.
Yep.
And, you know, the Chiefs have lost all of 2 games this year. And play here, play there. 4th down penalty when you're going for it. False start in a 3rd down when you're 3rd down in a yard. I mean, John Gruden, you know, made a comment to us on Friday. And you brought it up earlier. What a tremendous responsibility this is to build this thing from the ground up, and that's exactly what they're doing. All right, here we go.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called. As an incomplete pass. Oakland will be charged with its 2nd timeout of the half and is out of challenges for the remainder of the game.
So both challenges by John Gruden have come up short, costing him timeouts.
Great play by Arden Key. Here's what I thought, that the ball was knocked loose by his left hand right there. Wasn't confirmed. Stand. So play on.
All right, so 2nd down now. Dobbs, much better protection. And it's intercepted. The ball was batted and then picked off by Whitehead. I'm sure we're going to wait on a replay of this as well, because they have to review every change of possession.
A great job by Garyon Conley. Dobbs has plenty of time, and again, they're trying to help him out with play action. The most consistent player, Whitehead, has made a great play, but this is Garyon Conley again, avoiding the pass interference, the discipline to come over the top, to keep the right hand off Antonio Brown and swatting it away. Just a tremendous effort by Garyon Conley and Tyre Whitehead with the pick, making plays when the play needs to be made.
You know, a lot of people forget Conley, a #1 pick out of Ohio State, from your hometown, in fact, Massillon, Ohio, same high school.
Yeah, Massillon Tiger making a play.
And, you know, he only played 2 games his entire rookie year, then he got hurt. So he is playing a full NFL season for the first time. And he's coming on strong. They're excited by his play. Martin lost a yard, but Dupree on the stop, and that'll be the final play of this 3rd quarter. We got a ball game. I mean, the Steelers with a golden chance to pick up ground on the Ravens, who lost earlier today, and the Raiders trying to spoil those thoughts. Neither team able to get anything going on offense in that 3rd quarter.
Right there, ruled an incomplete pass. Garyon Conley avoiding the interference. Antonio Brown tipped the ball. Tyre Whitehead running the football. Big play for the Raider defense.
Not a single point scored by either team in the 3rd quarter. And again, Ben Roethlisberger injured in the 2nd quarter. Stayed in the game to play the 1st half, and missing an open Seth Roberts' car. 4th quarter has been a nightmare for John Gruden's team. Of course, the Steelers have let some games get away in the 4th quarter too, going back last week.
Gave up 18 points in the 4th quarter last week to the Chargers. And I think if you look at John Gruden, the one thing, and I talked to Reggie McKenzie, the general manager, at practice on Friday, they're looking for guys to finish, looking for guys to play hard, looking for guys that want to be Raiders. They have a lot of guys that are just trying to make a team or just join the team, and they're playing hard. They should be proud of them so far today. Can they finish?
That'll be a false start.
False start. Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty. It's third down.
Boy, it's hard enough 3rd and 10. And John Gruden, his team now has been hit with 105 yards in penalties, 10 of them in the game.
I just think that's so frustrating. And when you have young players and new players and the locker room changeover that they have every week, it's just difficult to beat a really good team like the Steelers with the self-inflicted wounds.
They're down at 15, and Carr rolls, throws, had an open receiver and missed him by 10 feet, and nearly threw it into the arms of the safety, Sean Davis.
Carr was running down to the receiver, and he wanted him in a different place. Now watch Marcel Aitman. He is open on a little bit of a corner route right here. Carr on the move. Carr thought he was going to sit it down right there. Aitman broke it outside. Now watch him. Get back inside. Get back inside. That's where I'm putting the ball. But that's a rookie, and he's trying to help him out and coach him hard. Benaware. That's on the receiver, by the way, not Carr.
Fair catch. Oh. And this will hit the covering Raider in the back, who will be charged for yet another penalty. That's Nick Nelson. I mean, it doesn't matter who the head coach has been for the Raiders over the last Lord knows how long. Penalty after penalty after penalty among the league leaders, and that's not a good thing every single year.
No, it's especially if you're a team that, like we say, they're rebuilding. Let's be honest, they're a rebuilding franchise. You're out here playing well against the Pittsburgh Steelers, or fighting for playoff position, right? But you're self-inflicted
Fair catch
penalties.
interference by the kicking team, number 23. 15-yard penalty. Pittsburgh's ball, first down.
And right here, it creates field position, right? They've had good defensive field position. Now you give the Steelers some breathing room. But I want to go back to Derek Carr right here. He's getting Aitman now. He's taking a little bit of leadership role and calm down a little bit and telling him, don't break that outside. The defender was outside. You either sit that down and I will throw you open inside versus zone coverage. In a zone, you sit it down. And man, you keep running. It's a good job of him coaching, and he's a competitor. He wants to win. But that's leadership right there. Hold that guy accountable, and he'll get better. Aikman's a guy that John Gruden's really excited about.
Now they'll tack on the penalty yards, and this drive will start from the 32-yard line. Steelers lead 14-10. Only 20 seconds have passed in this fourth quarter. And Joshua Dobbs playing the first meaningful minutes of his NFL career. He did not play a single snap all of last season. Easy throw to Antonio Brown. That'll be a gain of close to 6. So let's check in with Kurt.
Well, after Dallas had a 9-0 lead, Dak threw his second interception, and the Eagles turned it into points. Carson Wentz to Alshon Jeffrey. They missed the extra point, but have since added a field goal. So after being down 9-0, it's now 9-9. Got it, Tom, Chris?
We got it. Well, Ben's still moving around over on that sideline, but no sign of a helmet in hand. Just wearing that Steelers cap. Well, this Oakland defense, I know you have a backup quarterback in there, but look, when Ben Roethlisberger was in there, they only allowed 14 points, and the last touchdown came in the final minute of the opening half.
Well, and Paul Gunther is a smart guy, right? So he understands that Randy Fichtner, the offensive coordinator, is limited to what he's going to call, especially after an interception. So he's going to keep things close to the vest, easy passes, and try to run the football to eat as much clock as they can. And Gunther is adjusted accordingly.
Raiders are right up on the line of scrimmage here.
Land Matt. Safety deep.
Dobbs on a third down. Throws. And it's broken up. And again, it's Garyon Conley, the #1 pick out of Ohio State, who continues to get better and better seemingly every week.
Well, it's playing corner is playing confident. Even though you're #1 pick, sometimes you struggle with confidence. Right here, it's just a great break on the football. And again, avoiding running through the receiver. The ball was behind, which allowed Garyon Conley to get that left hand in. And if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you might be saying, well, Ben would have put that ball outside, so Conley would have had to go through the receiver, get an interference.
Here's a punt by Jordan Berry. And a fair catch at the 27. Well, if you get some help from Lester Hayes, you better be good. Of course, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NFL, then forged a remarkable career as a broadcaster. I know he's dialed in right now, lives in the area. Legendary John Madden led the Raiders in '76 to an AFC Championship win over these Steelers. 2 weeks later, won the Super Bowl. Went to the Hall of Fame in 2006. And a first down completion to Jordy Nelson.
You know, you see, I was lucky enough to be on the All-Madden team and used to get this sweatshirt. So one of my kids wore the sweatshirt one day. I saw him wear it, and I grounded him for 3 weeks. You don't touch that. That sweatshirt's are
Grounded your son for wearing a sweatshirt.
That's 3 weeks. Yes, automatic. The Madden sweatshirt.
Wide open. And that's a receiver he was just talking to a little while ago, Aidman.
Yeah, and that's the trust to come back to a guy. Just a great throw. This is a flick of the wrist. First of all, the route, right? It's a quick set, and he's going to throw him open. But why he goes that direction? Because you have a linebacker on a wide receiver. Smart quarterbacks, good quarterbacks will take advantage of that every time. Such a strong arm throw, too. That was a flick.
Well, of course, each side pointing the other way, and it's going to be against the Raiders yet again.
Well, sorry. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty.
It's been a tough day for the rookie Brandon Parker. From executive producer Ridley Scott, starring Mark Paul Gosselaar, The Passage comes to Fox this January. Can one girl save humanity? Based on the best-selling trilogy, The Passage premieres this January only on Fox.
Parker's done a pretty decent job against T.J. Watt on pass protection all day. T.J. Watt's a handful out on that edge.
Well, penalties 125 yards. Richard came in with over 55 receptions on this season. He does not have a single catch in the game today. And you see the last 5 possessions, they had that fumble, but then took it right back away on the interception by Whitehead.
Yeah, well, they're playing with their defenses, I think, playing their best ball game of the year. Competing, running around, making plays, playing with a lot of confidence, knocking balls down. And can this offense capitalize? Good field position.
Carr scrambles away and delivers on the money. It'll be short of a first down, but a significant pickup on second down to Nelson.
Carr has great pocket presence. Looking over here and getting a pre-snap read on Jordy Nelson, but the pressure's coming, steps up, buys himself time, keeps his eyes downfield, and it's an excellent job of Jordy Nelson working back to the quarterback on scramble drill to cut the distance and create some separation between he and the defensive back.
All right, it's going to be a 3rd down and 5. They need to get to the 31.
Again, Jared Cook working right here. Morgan Burnett, a matchup they liked in the first half.
Instead, they come back to Aitman, who just lowers his shoulder and picks up the first down to the 29-yard line. I don't know if Carr has looked at Jared Cook on a 3rd down since the first drive of the game.
Well, first of all, this is a nice little pick route by the Raiders. He hasn't, but watch Jordy Nelson run out and screen off the corner. You see him screen off the corner? That allowed the corner has to go over top, allowed space for the slant route to work. Jordy Nelson was not part of that play. He had one job, force the corner to go over top of him to give room to the underneath receiver. It's a great play by Jordy Nelson.
29-yard line. They give it to Richard. And maybe a yard. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, since trading for Amari Cooper, the Cowboys are 4-0. Could they make it 5-0 today against the Eagles? That beautiful pass from Dak to Cooper. 28-yard score, and that's the difference right now. Cowboys up a touchdown with under 8 minutes to go in regulation. Tom?
Cowboys, they want something, they go after it, don't they? He gave a lot up to get Amari. He's paid off so far.
On second down, flushed out of the pocket, and will wisely throw it away. You know, we were talking to John Gruden. So much has been made as this season has gone on about trading away Khalil Mack. Just before the year began, they trade away Amari Cooper and let some other guys kind of get out the door. And he said, hey, look, we won 6 games with this group a year ago. 6 wins in a season doesn't get you to playoffs.
Well, they've made the decision. I think when he was hired, they made the decision that they're going to rebuild this thing. And I'll tell you, the one thing that he can be proud of today, no matter how this game ends up, these guys are competing, all of them. And some of these guys were on the street last week, hanging out watching TV. Go on, bring them in.
Nelson is able to spin inside the 20. He needed to get to the 19 for a first down. He looks like he's just short. Oh boy, decision time now with 8:50 to go for John Gruden.
Yeah, I think it's no decision. Line up and go. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Obviously, he alerted the hard count. Watch Mike Tomlin probably hurt the hard count. But I think it's the right call to go for it. Absolutely, no question about it.
Oakland only 4 of 13 on 4th down this year. And they will get the first down. Richard. And the ball was picked up. I believe they said it was already down. But it is enough for a first down. Richard is claiming that he should be in the end zone.
15-yard line. It's Oakland's ball, 1st and 10.
Rodney Hudson, the center, does a great job of coming off a double team and swinging his hips, cutting off Fort. And Richard is down by contact. But that's just a tremendous job of Rodney Hudson coming off a double team, getting to the second level, defined by linebackers. Let's see.
Let's make sure.
Elbows down. Balls down, elbows down. Play on. Let's go.
And on their play. Richard able to slither in among some of the Steeler defenders, and he's down close to the 11-yard line. And again, no Ben Roethlisberger, at least not so far in his second half. We saw him up walking around, threw the football a couple of times, left with a rib injury at the end of the first half. The Steelers have been shut out without Roethlisberger here in the second half by the Raiders. Eleventh play of this drive for Oakland. Carr to Cook, who simply dropped. I think it's the first time they've thrown him the ball in his second half.
It's just a rare situation, too, because you don't see Jared Cook drop the ball in games or practice. Perfectly thrown ball. I think he was excited about trying to make Edmonds miss after the catch. He's finished the play. He understands.
Raiders lead the NFL in drop passes this season. In fact, they dropped more passes than any team in football the last 5 seasons.
This is where I'm going right here. This matchup right there. I attack that right now.
And that's Richard you're talking about. And the catch is made by Nelson. How in the world did Joe Hayden not get a hand on that football? What a throw.
The concentration, because Joe Hayden's going to get in the throwing lane just a little bit late with that left arm and right under the defender's arm, and Jordy Nelson, tremendous concentration bringing it in.
Well, that's a big-time throw and a big-time catch to focus on hauling that one in. Steelers now facing 1st and goal for the Raiders at the 2-yard line. They're going to run it and drop for a loss behind the line of scrimmage is Martin, and there's to it.
Stephon Tuitt right here is going to slice down inside with a nice little swim move, avoids the offensive blocker and is able to get the tackle for loss. The offensive tackle dropped his head, missed his target, and Tuitt came through with a pass rush move on a run play to get the TFL tackle for loss.
All right, so backed up the yard, second down and goal from the 3. They come back the other way, and that is a touchdown for the Raiders. Lee Smith. He had not had a touchdown in 4 years, and now he has touchdowns in back-to-back games.
So everybody's focus is on Cook coming from this side. Smith has to be patient. He's going to do what we call a tight end sneak route. He's just going to try to get lost. Number 98, Vince Williams, has him in coverage. And Carr lets it develop, uses his eyes to move defenders toward Cook. Then he hits Smith on a tight end delay. Sneak route.
So now a very, very important point after. And it sneaks inside the right upright. Is Big Ben coming back? Lee Smith from the Marshall Thundering Herd.
This is a tremendous job of Carr setting it up with his eyes. Lee Smith patient on the tight end sneak route. Kind of get lost in between all those big offensive linemen. Just a well-designed play by John Gruden. Lee Smith said, I'm tired of blocking. I want to catch a touchdown, and he did. It's a great play call by Coach Gruden. Can the Steelers answer? Playoffs. That's what Mike Tomlin told us. They start now.
And the question is, will we see Ben Roethlisberger coming back here for the final 5:20? Shannon, any word on that? Here he comes.
Yeah, it looks like he's going in there, Tom. You know, over the last defensive drive that the guys were just out there, we saw Ben Roethlisberger slowly getting warmed up. He threw the ball a little bit, walked around, grabbed his gloves, walked around, did not grab his helmet to the very last minute. They did not rule him out, obviously, but he's going in to try to win this game.
40 times in the regular season, including twice this year. Ben Roethlisberger has led his team to a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter or overtime. Does he have a 41st in him? First down throw right on the button. And that's the biggest gain of the afternoon for Antonio Brown, who's had a very quiet day.
This is an easy read for Ben because of the zone defense that the Raiders are playing. Antonio Brown is going to find that hole. Remember, in zone, the rule is sit it down. And man, you take it across. He finds the hole, sits it down. He and Ben Roethlisberger, of course, are on the same page.
Steelers have 2 timeouts remaining, and of course we have a 2-minute warning, but a long way to go, just under 5. And a pump fake, they dump it off out of the backfield. And it's Samuels breaking a couple of tackles and across midfield.
Well, Jalen Samuels, Mike Tomlin was excited about not only what he can do as a running back, but more importantly, what he brings to the table here. Ben Roethlisberger understands where his check down is, missed tackles in space. Worley went for the football instead of the legs. When you go high and you try to get the football, you're going to miss tackles. Go get him, wrap him up, try to strip it, miss tackle. Samuels makes it pay.
First down, pump fake it down the middle of the field. Defender fell down and Roethlisberger missed it.
Well, they had it.
Ben missed a touchdown throw last week to Justin Hunter. And that was a play. Hunter wound up diving for the ball and hurt his shoulder. And now look, Smith-Schuster just getting up. We do have a penalty flag down on the far side.
Before the pass was thrown, holding defense number 21. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So a couple things real quick. Gareon Conley has had great breaks on the ball. He broke up an out cut last time. Set him up with an out and up. And this is a smart play by Gareon. Understanding he was beat, he was able to reach out and just grab him enough to get a 5-yard penalty. You get to holding, it's only a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down, as opposed to the pass interference. But that was set up by Randy Fichtner, Ben Roethlisberger, and Juju Smith-Schuster because of the great break last series that Conley had on the outcut.
And Conley's had a couple of them in the game today. First down, Big Ben dumps it off to Samuels again with blockers in front of him. And he is shot down, spun down, and the 20-yard line, and Samuels all of a sudden coming alive with Roethlisberger back in the game.
Well, the screen pass, right? And Jaylen Samuels understands the concept of screen, is very patient letting this set up, acting like he's going to pass pro, turns around, the Steelers' athletic offensive line downfield, getting a hat on a hat, and Samuels doing business in open field.
23-yard gain. Roethlisberger back in the game, and Pittsburgh on the move down 3. Simple pitch and catch to Smith-Schuster. Another first down. Obviously, they're not in the end zone yet. They haven't kicked a field goal yet.
Well, Gary,
Chris, you or I could have made these last 3 passes, but there's something different about having Roethlisberger on the play.
Well, the play calling is different because your whole playbook is opened up. With Dobbs as conservative, with Big Ben, everything's opened up. Right there, Garyon Conley jumped inside. He's got to jump outside to force that ball to cut in. Again, just knowing what you're doing and the athletic ability of the Steelers to get downfield to block on all screens by all positions.
Pump fake. Look the other way. Protection all day to throw. And Smith-Schuster is inside the 2, down to the 1. First down and goal, Pittsburgh, is Roethlisberger. His team shut out here in the second half. Has come back into the game for the first time in this second half and has him a yard away from a touchdown and a lead.
The offensive line, just tremendous job of allowing him to sit there, survey the field. And no defensive back 7 can cover anybody for that long. Not with Ben Roethlisberger and the wealth of talent he has around him.
And that is a touchdown for Smith-Schuster. Boy, what a dangerous throw that was.
It's almost picked.
Wow. And it's a touchdown for the Steelers as Roethlisberger brings them back again.
Well, this is just the picks, right? And he's going to sneak in right behind these guys, but watch the play right here. That's number 56, Demontre Moore, who just signed off the street this week, almost makes a great play, just loses sight of the football. Concentration by Smith-Schuster. Those are picks. That's just a great job. Those are legal picks. They didn't make contact until the ball was caught. They're lucky because Demontre Moore just off the street almost made a great play for the Raiders. Almost made a great play for the Raiders.
Still 2:55 to go, and this is a critical point after. And we mentioned that Boswell has missed 5 of those this year. He had 1 today hit off the upright and go through. So this is no gimme. Bad snap. And it is good. How about that play made by the punter, Jordan Berry? Roethlisberger back, 6 for 6, 70 yards, and a touchdown for the Steelers. The ultimate front runner is Mr. Mo. Mr. Momentum. It was Smith and the Raiders a moment ago, and it swings the other way to Roethlisberger and the Steelers with 2:55 to go and a 4-point Steelers lead. But now Derek Carr will have a chance. Mentioned earlier today, a heartbreaking loss for the Ravens, but one certainly celebrated by these Steelers, who have a chance to go to 8-4-1, pick up a full game on the Ravens.
And this is where their defense has to win the ball game for them now. The Raiders have 1 timeout left with a 2-minute stoppage, so that gives them 2 stops the clock. And see what Derek Carr can do. He's playing really well. Played his best game under John Gruden last week. He's played really well today. Now's a chance to make something happen.
15 game-winning drives for Carr in his young career. And on first down, good protection. And this is Richard, his first catch of the game. And boy, did he take a hit like Cameron Hayward.
You know, when you have defensive linemen making plays on checkdowns, that's effort, that's hustle, that's leadership. That's Cam Hayward. Anytime you can make a play like that as a defensive lineman, that's a benefit to everybody, and it fires everybody up.
Well, Hayward voted by his teammates as the captain of this Steelers defense. Carr steps away from trouble, and it's Aikman again, a first down to the 40-yard line. Yes, it is a catch.
Well, that's a kid that's growing up right before Derek Carr's eyes, John Gruden's eyes, Reggie McKenzie's eyes. Getting better and better, and Carr's starting to get confidence in the big receiver, the rookie out of Oklahoma State.
Well, Carr wants him to run another play before the 2-minute warning, and they will. Steps up, throws to Cook, and a first down to take us to the 2-minute warning. Oh, Mr. Momentum. Did I say he's a fickle sort? Former great for the silver and black, our dear friend Matt Millen. 9 years, won a Super Bowl in both Oakland and Los Angeles, and we're certainly praying for him.
Yep.
Waiting on a heart transplant, one of our favorite guys.
Great player, great analyst, better person.
No doubt.
With you, Matt. I'll tell you,
No doubt.
these two guys have done a pretty good job, Miller and Parker, all day for rookies against the #1 sack defense in the league.
Goes down from the 47. Carr airs it out to the catch. It is made by Seth Roberts inside the 10.
Well, you know that Tampa 2 defense. This is Morgan Burnett. His job is to run all the way vertical with the wide receiver. Carr just drops a dime inside of that over the linebacker. The head's a little bit late. And Seth Roberts, under pressure, knowing contact was coming, was able to finish.
That was an unbelievable throw.
It's a great throw. Great throw.
Now, remember now, on 2 challenges, the Raiders lost timeouts in this game. So only 1 left, and they need a touchdown. Field goal doesn't do it. They give it to Richard, and again, they cannot stop the clock, so they run it with a 1:11 to go, and that clock continues to run. And they don't appear to be, apparently, they're going to let that clock continue to go. I don't know what's going on here, Chris. That's a lot of time they're killing right now.
Yeah, they've got a plan. They trust the plan. They understand what they want to do with it. Carr's in complete control. They try to sneak one in there with the run. Now the ball's going to be thrown. 3 straight plays. And again, I like the matchup with Richard in the slot.
Here comes a blitz, and Carr just has to throw it away. That was Hilton coming off the edge, and there's an injured Raider on the field.
And we have 2 linemen limping around down there for the Raiders.
They have Gabe Jackson, their right guard.
Feliciano was limping a little bit, starting at left guard. Guys are tough, though. They'll figure it out. Try to finish and do the best that they can.
All right, so you got a 3rd down and goal. Blitz coming again. Carr lofts it to Cook in the end zone. And it's batted away. Excellent coverage by the veteran Morgan Burnett. So here we go, 4th and goal.
Well, they're trying to work a crossing route right here. And Morgan Burnett, working on Cook, does a good job of jamming him at the line of scrimmage, keeps in contact. Has his eyes with the field right there. Could have been a holding call called. See that? He's hooking the arm. Technically, that should have been a penalty. It was not, but he made the play. You're not allowed to grab the arm like that. I mean, that's a flag. We see that called in, week out. If you're hooking the arm, that's a holding. But
well, it was not called this time, and Chris Spielman, I don't know. We came out here. I don't know how you felt when we went to the Raiders practice on Friday that they had a fighting chance, but after watching them last week, you knew they would compete, and you pointed out all day today.
Yeah, they have heart and they have spirit. They believe in John Gruden. Derek Carr's playing his best football of the year. He's the cornerstone of this franchise, and this would be a great win for him. But the Steelers are a proud group. They're playing the playoffs. 4th down. Line up, and let's find out.
All right, here we go. 4th down and goal from just outside the 5-yard line. All right, where are you going here?
Well, you got to look at Cook, right? I still like Richard, but if he's not in the slot, then forget him. It's either Cook or Jordy Nelson. There's Jordy Nelson right there inside. There's Cook right there.
You've had Lee Smith, who hadn't had a touchdown in 3.5 years until the last 2 weeks. Carrier had a grand total of 5 catches all year long, and this is his first touchdown.
Out and in. Jordy Nelson occupies 2 guys. You have number 28, Mike Hilton, thinking that Carrier was going to run the corner route. He drops way back into the end zone. Carrier pulls it back, and Carr knows where he's going to be. Easy pitch and catch.
And you think John Gruden's fired up? You better believe it. But again, a critical point after. To make it a 3-point game. Carr goes 5 of 7 on the drive for 74 yards, and Feliciano needs help getting off the field, and Carr's right there to wrap him up.
Jordy Nelson occupies 2. 2 guys, you said it. Right? Carrier and Lee Smith making touchdown plays in the red zone.
You know, you talked about guys they just brought in off the street, or guys that, you know, not only one team maybe didn't want him back. Carrier's been with 4 teams in 2 years.
Yep.
And what about this throw to Seth Roberts?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about big-time throws right there, and why Raider fans around the country should be excited about this, because right now, John Gruden and Derek Carr are on the same page, and that's a great combination. And Derek Carr believes in John Gruden, and John Gruden believes in Derek Carr. That's your cornerstone, and you'll continue to build. And they have a bunch of draft picks coming up, and all kinds of good things for the Raiders. But the cornerstone and the quarterback are in place, and the head coach is in place for a long time.
All right, now Frosty Rucker, who's a defensive lineman, is in there right now blocking in place of Feliciano. Point after. And it's good. All right, well, look, this game's not over. If anybody's watched that guy right there through the years. You know, he had the touchdown throw. He got the big sack, wound up capping off the final drive of the first half for a touchdown. His last 2 drives, he's gone 12 for 13. When they brought him back in just a moment ago, and he throws a touchdown to Juju Smith-Schuster. All they need is a field goal. Raiders lead 24-21, and the Steelers have 1 timeout left.
Well, anything can happen in NFL, as witnessed today if anybody watched the Patriots-Dolphins game.
Unbelievable.
On the double, triple lateral thing, Steelers can help themselves if they get any type of return.
Boy, this is such a huge game for Pittsburgh.
Had a chance to pull a game up, game and a half up on the Ravens. Opportunities.
They had to go with Joshua Dobbs at quarterback this entire second half until their most recent drive when Roethlisberger took him down the field for a touchdown. And now Switzer, and this will chew up some more time. He's running straight for the sideline and gets out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So for a 53-yard field goal, that means you're putting the ball down roughly in the 43. 53 is a career long for Boswell. So you'd have to get to the 35-yard line. And Boswell has more leg than that.
He's hitting them for about 55 and Warnock's going that direction. I think ideally the first goal you want to do is you want to make sure that you give yourself a legitimate shot at a Hail Mary.
They do have 1 timeout left. 15 seconds remain. And there's a lateral. Smith-Schuster down the sideline to the 50, the 40, the 35, the 30, run out of bounds to the 20-yard line. Can you believe it?
Usually you make plays for this. He's going to come timed perfectly right here. The execution of this is beautiful. First of all, you have to throw the fastball so he can catch it cleanly. And Washington does a great job of pitching it to Smith-Schuster in the effort on making the play down the field.
And I tell you what, he just got out of bounds in the nick of time. 5 seconds left, so here comes a field goal try, 40 yards out by Boswell. He missed from 39 early on, and it's to tie it. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is blocked, and the Raiders have beaten the Steelers. It looked like Boswell lost his footing. I don't know if that had anything to do with his block.
Well, first of all, yeah, I think it did, Tom, because it's such a low kick. You see that? He slipped right there, and that ball had no chance because he's going to hit the rear end of an offensive lineman.
Yep.
The poor footing again. We talked about it all game. A chance. Great effort. There's no shot.
The first time the Steelers touched the ball, we saw their return man fall down. Ryan Switzer trying to bring it back. And on their final play, their kicker loses his footing. And John Gruden and the Raiders will celebrate the biggest win since the return of John Gruden. Just their third of the year.